Hello students and welcome to the e-learning program initiated by Shri Gyanmanjari Vidyapit for the students of Standard 10, in which we are learning the subject of English. Students, from today we are going to start with a new poem, that is poem number 9, plus as you can see on the screen poem number 10 also and poem number 11 also. We are going to learn all the three poems together today, one by one, that is. But thing to be kept in mind is poem number 9, that is fog, and poem number 11, that is for N. Gregory. That has been reduced from the syllabus. Those two poems have been cut from the syllabus. In the syllabus, there is only poem number 10. So, we'll be learning all the three poems uh, so that we are well acquainted with those poems and we know the figures of speech, etc. Right? But especially we'll be dealing more with poem number 10, and which is quite long and not that hard, but then figures of speech are a lot over there. So I hope students you are sitting with your first English material, which has the poem 9, 10 and 11 plus pencils, etc., wherever you got to mark the figures of speech. So let us first start with poem number 9. Name of the poem is Fog, and it is written by Carl Sandburg. It's a very small poem, right? And uh, the poem Fog is written by the American poet Carl Sandburg. He was not only a poet, he was a writer also and an editor also. More important thing is he has won 3 Pulitzer prizes. Yes, जैसे movies में Oscar का importance है, same way literature में Pulitzer Prize is the highest award in literature, right? So he has won not one, not two, but 3 Pulitzer Prizes, and he is also famous for writing the biography of Abraham Lincoln, who was the first black president of the United States of America. So very small poem. Here it starts, here it ends. Hardly 6 lines poem, but it tells us about the imagination of the poet, the comparison that he does, that is more important and very prominent over here, right? The fog comes on little cat feet, right? Now, cat already a very small little animal, and on top of it, it's a it's a very quiet animal. Yes, you hardly notice a cat because it walks stealthily. It doesn't make a sound while walking, right? It tiptoes all the steps of a cat. They are always tiptoeing. They have soft padded feet. Yes, below the feet on the sole, the very soft feet, and it has a uh, very flexible body. Yes, it can squeeze through anything. It can jump heights that we think might be unimaginable for such a small animal. Yes, it can walk with lots of ease on slanting roofs, any tree branches, virtually anywhere on the fences, etc. So virtually it's an unimaginable feat that it has got. Yes, one of the important feat that is described over here, one of the important um, quality that the cat has is of stealth. Yes, it it can very well hide itself. It can very well walk quietly without noticing the movements. Even we are sitting right in front of it, but it's very difficult to notice the movement of the cat, right? The spring it takes, the sudden jump it takes, and it can cross quite a lot of distance in that one sweep. And so these are the qualities, physical qualities that the cat has. Now, fog is compared with it. The fog comes. How? On little cat's feet. That means a comparison over here. A little cat, if it is walking somewhere, we won't even notice it. It comes very near us from the behind, then also we'll never notice it because it walks so stealthily, it walks so quietly without making any sound, noiseless. It comes. Yes, the same way fog comes. It sits looking over harbor and city. Yes, either if the city is located near the harbor, it may come from the harbor towards the city, or from the city side, it can go towards the harbor. So it crouches on the harbor and looks ahead on the city. It wants to engulf the city, right? It is the same way when a cat is on a prowl, when it is out to find its prey, right? There it crawls and sits on his haunches. Yes, it folds its hind limbs, but it folds its forelimbs also in such a manner that it can, whole of the body can take a spring all at once, and it's ready for any action, right? But it sits on his haunches, very, very alert, and the same way the fog sits. It sits looking over harbor and city. It looks at the harbor and the city with the same eye, and now it is preparing to engulf both the harbor also and the city also. It is just looking like a cat which is on the prowl. On silent haunches, it sits. How? On silent haunches. So this line is applicable over here. Silent haunches, and then moves on. It's ready to attack. Just like the cat is ready, it sits on his haunches and hind limbs and all the four limbs. They are very ready to give a spring. Same way the fog over here is sitting and it's looking over the harbor and the city, and it's very ready, and then it starts creeping and it engulfs the complete city and the harbor. Yes, and the fog will be so thick that you cannot see ahead of one hand length, right? And everything, the visibility goes down. Yes, the same way the prey is somewhere on the street, somewhere on the sides of the tree, etc., and the cat is sitting over there, power, ready to pounce on it, and all of a sudden it springs and pounces on the prey and makes it its food. So, a very, very small poem, but a very meaningful poem, is written by Carl Sandburg. Now, let us see the figure of speech. Please note it down in your material. The fog comes. The coming and going of fog. Uh, Fog is not living, but it has been personified as it has human qualities of coming. So personification is in the first line. The fog comes as if it can come on its own, on little cat's feet. Yes, like, no, on, right? So a direct comparison is not made, but an indirect comparison is made over here. It is simple. It is implied simile, right? So metaphor is there. The fog comes like it is coming on cat's feet, or like cat walk. No. So an indirect comparison is made. Hyperbole is used over here because this is an overstatement. The fog cannot come like a cat, right? It sits looking. These two are two taken together. It sits looking over harbor and city. Yes, city is on land, harbor is on the sea. So two opposite ideas are represented with and in between, with one word at least in between that separates two opposite terms. That is why antithesis is used over here. On silent haunches, again metaphor is used over it. Like, sitting like as if it is haunching over there. No, on silent haunches, not like silent haunches. Then transferred epithet is there. Now it is sitting, right? It is sitting, that is transferred over here to silent haunches, right? Sitting how? Silent haunches. So transferred epithet is there. It is sitting in such way that it looks as if it is haunching. Yes, that is the position in which it's sitting. Haunches and silent is the adjective. It gets transferred over there, right? So transferred epithet is used over here, and last again, and then moves on. Human quality is given, right? So personification is there. Now, as this will not be asked in the board paper, this poem has been reduced from the syllabus right? We'll just have a look at it. Summary: the poet says that the fog, which is generally seen during the winter season, is coming towards the city and the harbor just like a cat. This means that it is approaching the city in such a way as the cat approaches, so that no one can notice its arrival. All of a sudden it becomes misty. That means the fog has arrived just like a cat. He has compared its arrival to that of a cat because cat always enters a place very silently. Next he says that the fog has covered the whole of the city and the harbor, and it appears as if it is sitting on the haunches, folding its legs and looking around, just the way our cat does when it sits on the haunches and looks around. So, just the way a cat does when it sits on the haunches and looks around, at the end he describes the departure of the fog again in the same way like a cat, that it moves very silently and without any prediction. You don't know where the cat is going to go. Same way you don't know where the fog has gone. Again, similar to the departure of the cat. It just vanishes. You look at the cat second time, it won't be there. So silently it has vanished. So, this is the end of poem explanation, figures of speech, summary, and end of poem number 9. Now we'll start with poem number 10. Now, poem number 10 of first flight. Now, this is included in the syllabus for board exam, so we have to learn this poem quite thoroughly. Name of the poem is The Tale of Custard the Dragon. We're talking about a small dragon over here. Name of the dragon is Custard. It is written by a very famous poet. Name of the poet is Ogden Nash. Let us learn about the poet Ogden Nash. He was born in 1902 and died in 1971. Yes, approximately living over 70 years. And he was a school teacher. He is famous for his collection of poems. He has not written one or two poems. He has written many poems and made collections of those poems and published it. So his collections are also more. It's not one collection of so many poems, so many poems divided into different collections and published. So he is very famous for that, and he is best remembered for his nonsense poetry. Right? Last year also we had a nonsense poetry. Is the duck and the kangaroo. Right? So it's just for fun. Yes. So he is very well known for the nonsense poetry that he writes. Now this one is, let's look at the poem and then decide whether it is nonsense or not. We know dragons are not there, right? Mythology, myth, but it's not real, right? So uh, he has included dragon over here. So let's see how the poem uh, responds to that nonsense poems written by Ogden Nash. Now, about the poet we learned. Now, let us look at the summary first and then we'll go to the poem. We'll understand the summary. We'll understand the poem with the help of the summary first and then we'll look at the poem. The Tale of Custard the Dragon is a ballad. Now, what's a ballad? Ballad is lyrical. Yes, it is written in such a way that it can be sung, right? So, ballad is a song which can be sung also. It is a poem, but it is written in such a way that it forms good lyrics and it can be sung also. So, basically, The Tale of Custard the Dragon, that is the poem, it's a ballad poem. It's a humorous poem. Yes, it's a funny poem. Humorous, which will make you laugh. That means some type of fancy is going to be there inside. Yes, poem में situation create नहीं कर सकते इतनी, right? Because we have lots of there are poets who wants to create some situation over there, right? So this is a poem that is based on a particular situation, and then it has been made very funny and humorous. About a cowardly dragon named Custard. Now we know dragons, they're huge beasts. Yeah? As we see them in movies, pictures, and all, they might have existed, I know, millions of years ago, dinosaur wala age, right? We don't know about that. But then we at least know that a dragon is quite big and it can fly and it spits fire. That much we know, right? So it's a dragon. But here a funny situation is there that this dragon is coward. That means he doesn't have courage. Custard is a pet of Belinda. She is a little girl who lives in a little white house with her pets. So it's an imaginary poem, right? And imaginary characters are there. So this is this Belinda girl who's quite small, and she lives in a White House. And White House. We know what's a White House. Yes, it's the hot power of seat. Yes, uh, of the US, where the US president lives and his office is there. So you can see the fun over here, right? It's a little White House. Yes, because he now see that small little girl, but it has powerful pets like a dragon. Now we don't know which are the other pets that she is having, but she's living in pets, and because dragon is considered powerful, that is why white. I mean, the only thing is the color of the house might be white, but it is termed over here as White House, little White House. That means powerhouse with her pets. She had a black kitten name. Okay. Now, along with the dragon, yes, she has a black kitten named Ink, a gray mouse called Blink. So we have some similar names over here. One is a mouse and one is a small kitten, right? So there are three pets. One is a dragon, one is a kitten named Ink, and a mouse named Blink. So whole of the poem is revolving around these four characters, out of which three are animals, one is a small little girl. A yellow dog. Now we have a fourth one also, a yellow dog named Mustard. Yes, of course, if it's yellow, it's mustard. Yes, because the flowers, mustard is black, but then flowers of mustard, they are yellow. So very obviously named Mustard, right? And a cowardly dragon, Custard, that we know. So custard, mustard, naming names, same way, Ink and Blink, rhyming names. Yes, the poet says that all of them are very brave except the dragon. Now, in the starting of the poem, all of them are showing lots of courage, including Belinda, the dog, the mouse, the cat. All of them, they are shown as brave, and only the dragon is shown as coward. Right? So here, opposite qualities are shown in them. A mouse is brave. Yes, a cat is brave. Dog can be brave, so it's a general quality that is associated with it. But cat, mouse, and they can't be that much brave, right? But here all the four, including the human being, all of them are brave except the dragon, whereas it should be the opposite. The dragon should be brave and the four, okay. The poet says that all of them are very brave except the dragon. Others were described as brave and are compared with animals like bear, tiger, or lion. But the dragon is very timid, very shy, yes, very meek. So the dragon is very shy, very meek, and very timid, and is completely not brave and is termed as coward. Whereas the mouse, the cat, so it's not even a cat, it's still a kitten, yes, and the dog, they are termed as very brave animals like uh, the bear, the tiger, or the lion. He always demands a safe place for himself. All the other characters make fun of him. He wants a safe place. He wants to be with the other people so that he is protected. He wants a safe place for himself. That is always what he demands. So all of them, all the rest four of them, they laugh on the dragon. But one night they are surprised by the entry of a pirate in the house. All of them get frightened and start hiding here and there. So now we see a situation is there where a pirate enters, right? Now, pirates in those days, quite dangerous people, right? And they always carry weapons and they do not hesitate to kill also for looting. So a pirate enters the house and all of them scatter away except the dragon. So here, okay, you are brave, you are courageous, but when? You should be brave and you should be courageous when the situation warrants you to be brave and courageous. Yes, when there is nothing happening, no activity, no need of action or bravery or courage, there you keep on boosting, I'm a brave person and I'm a courageous person. That's of no use. When the situation warrants, when there is a need of the moment to become brave and show your bravery and chivalry, at that time Custard the dragon shows his bravery. Otherwise, he was a coward, right? He was not brave. But when the situation needed, he was brave. Whereas all the other four people who call themselves brave are actually not brave or courageous. When the time wants, they hide away. Actually, who is a coward and who is a courageous person over here? That the poet wants us to tell, but in a very funny way. The dragon not only tackles him but also eats him up, right? A dragon, it's a big animal, right? So the dragon, though he was a coward, he's the only one in the house to tackle that pirate and even eat it up. All of them are saved by Custard and they thank him. So all ends good. In poetries, yes, the ending is always very good, right? Khadu Pidu Raj Karyu, so that is it. So by the end, they realized that they used to make fun of the dragon because of his timidness, but all of them are suddenly they started saying that they are more brave and could have handled the situation in much better way. Here, the poet tried to say that sometimes a timid person is actual hero in the toughest situations of life. Yes, then we all find excuses. First thing is, when we see trouble, we run away. When there is a need of bravery and courage, we run away. And then somebody who was very timid and shy, he's bold enough to face the situation and fight the situation, tackle the situation, and become victorious and show his bravery and courage. Now, all those people who had run away, now they come back after the situation is handled and they start giving excuse. Okay, I was not here, man, because I had some urgent work, I had to go away. Now, if I was there, I could have done this, but you were not there when you were needed, right? So, actually, what the poet is trying to show us is with a very ballad, musical like poem, yes, and with a little bit understanding of the human nature, human tendency is trying to portray us in the poem. Now, let's start with the poem. Belinda lived, and the whole of the poem is musical, and we know musical lyrics, they don't need much explanation to be done. Yes, because we will have to focus more on the figures of speech. It's quite a big poem, and there will be lots and lots of figures of speech, right? So, Belinda lived in a little white house, nothing to explain over there, with a little black kitten and a gray mouse. Yes, so that is the color of the kitten and the color of the mouse, and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon. They had a wagon also, so that all of them can sit inside and have a ride in the place. Yes, or the girl can put all the animals inside that wagon and they can go out for fun, right? So Belinda lived in the little white house with a little black kitten and a little gray mouse and a little yellow dog and a little red wagon and really, truly little pet dragon. Really, we know dragons are not there. Mouse, cat, dog. They are real animals in the real world, but dragons are not there. She here had a real dragon. So so the poet is just trying to make rhyming over here. Really, truly. These are not original words, but to have some musical effect, he has made real and true. Yes, we believe dragons are not there, right? So it should be true or false. Same way, dragons are not real, so it should be real and unreal. So real, true, little pet dragon, dragon, and that also pet, and that also true, and that also real, right? So we have four surprising elements over here in one little line. This is just for rhyming. Real, true, little pet dragon. Now, now the name of the little black kitten was Ink, and the little grey mouse, she called him Blink. So we have some rhyming over here between the kitten and the mouse. One is Ink and one is Blink. These unusual names. And the little dog was sharp as mustard. The little yellow dog, it was quite sharp, and she called him Mustard because of the color of the mustard, right? That is, no, when before mustard, when the mustard plant starts giving out yellow flowers, which turn into mustard. So the little yellow dog was sharp, and and she called him Mustard. But the dragon was a coward, and she called him Custard, right? Dragons, the names also should be looking some fearful, yes, ferocious, dangerous. But here, uh, the small little dragon, it was very coward-like animal, and that is why she called him Custard. Now we know what's the meaning of custard. Custard we mix with milk, and we make some porridge and award from it, right? So custard, right? Custard pie banate hain, custard, we make porridge out of it, right? So because custard is to be mixed with someone. So same thing over here is whole of the house. The other pets were there. Other small pets like kitten and mouse and dog and all that. Along with that, she had to keep the dragon over there to keep it safe, and that's why she called that coward little dragon as Custard. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth. Because that's the DNA, right? So it's going to be huge in size. Though it is small, it will be still big, and it will have sharp teeth. And don't know, perhaps might be spitting fire, and spikes on top of him and scales underneath. Spikes on top of it is it has spikes on the top. Is it is quite a rough skin and pointed, and it can hurt anybody with the help of that spikes, because spikes are always quite sharp. Yes, and scales beneath it. It has a very protective skin, and on top of that skin, scales bhi hote hain, right? Scales that we see on the fish. Yes, and it's quite hard and protective, right? So in that way, uh, because it's a dragon, naturally the skin is going to be quite tough, and there will be some protective layer on the top also, and lots of spikes coming out everywhere so that it can protect. Even dragon के जो tail होता है उसका end में भी एक triangle type का spike दिखाते हैं, right? So that it's pointed over there. So and spikes on top of him and scales underneath, mouth like a fireplace, chimney for a nose, right? So lots of comparison is made over here, right? Dragons, they emit fire, so the mouth is working like a chimney, which is also constantly blowing out smoke and fire. And where the smoke comes out from is when the mouth gets closed. The smoke is still there in the mouth, which now comes out from the nose. So the nose is working like a chimney, and mouth is working like a fireplace. Yes, it emits smoke and fire. Fire from the mouth and smoke from the nose. And really, truly, daggers for his toes. Dagger, it's a pointed, just like a small sword. Yes, dagger. So dagger is a bigger knife. You can say a smaller sword. Take whatever you want, right? But its size is quite short. इतना बड़ा dagger जितना बड़ा था उसका toenail था, right? And it was quite sharp, right? And really truly daggers for his toes. Instead, if you look at the toes, the nails coming out of the toes will look like small daggers over there. Already the dragon is not that big, it's still young, right? So it won't be having that much huge, but the nails are the size of the daggers, and they are quite pointed and they are quite sharp. Yes, it can kill somebody with the help of those toes. Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. Now, in this whole of the stanza, we have comparison of these people with something brave, right? Belinda was as brave as a barrel full of bears. Barrel full, you cannot have a barrel full of bear, right? Lots of bears together, then just imagine the strength of all those bears together. That much brave Belinda was. This is an exaggeration of comparison. Yes, the strength of Belinda is exaggerated. We already know that Belinda is a small girl. And Ink and Blink chased lions down the stairs. Now, already they are very small animals. Yes, and on top of that, they are frightened. One is a kitten and one is a mouse. They are already frightened because a mouse is always frightened. But the kitten, it's not a cat also right now. It's just a small young one of the cat. So it always looks here and there in a frightened manner. And they are shown brave as how brave? Both of them are chasing lions. Lion is frightened and running ahead of them because Blink and Ink are chasing them. So it shows the bravery that they are so brave that they can chase the lion down the stairs. Mustard was as brave as a tiger in a rage. When a tiger is angry, rage, anger. So when a tiger is really irritated and angry, the movement it shows, the uh, the roar that it gives out, right, and the anger that it shows, fast-paced movements here and there, right, every now and then growling and giving out roars. In the same way, the mustard, the dog, is shown as angry as a tiger, as powerful as a tiger, right? But the custard cried for a nice, safe cage. Now, on the opposite, custard, he is a dragon, he is huge compared to the other animals. He must be big, he must be huge, but he is so covered that he is always asking for a small cage in which he can hide, right? That means he is a coward, right? So, opposite things are over here. Belinda as brave as barrel full of bears. Ink and Blink chasing down lions. Mustard is compared with a tiger, but the dragon is very, very scared and frightened, and always is asking for a small, safe place like a cage. Now, how do they have fun with him? That is the whole of this paragraph, right? Belinda tickled him and she tickled him unmercifully, right? When you tickle someone, yes, you cannot resist that, and either you start laughing or you are very uncomfortable when you are tickled, right? So, to make the dragon uncomfortable or to make him cry, Belinda tickled him till the dragon cried for help or was too uncomfortable, and Belinda showed no mercy. That means kept on tickling him for quite a long time. That is showing no mercy. Ink, Blink, and Mustard, they rudely called him Percival, right? Uh, Ink, Blink, and Mustard, they call the dragon as Percival, who is some savior, who is a very, very strong person and very powerful person, very good at sword and all that. Yes, Percival. They all sat laughing in the little red dragon, but they are all friends and they live together, and they all sit in the red dragon and have fun. The really, truly cowardly dragon also over there. But these people, they always make fun of the dragon. Belinda giggled till she shook the house, and Blink said, "Weak," which is giggling for mouse, and Ink and Mustard rudely asked his age when Custard cried for a nice, safe cage. Here, there's still that poking fun at the dragon is still continuous. Belinda giggles. Giggle is a small little sound of laughing, right? And then it's a small giggling is not that much heard over a distance, but she giggles in such a way that the echo finds itself in whole of the house, and whole of the house is shaking with laughter. So, is she giggling or is she laughing that way? Blink and Blink, that is the mouse, says weak, that is what do mouse do? They quick, right? So weak, and that is giggling for a mouse. Ink and Mustard, they rudely ask his age. You are such a big thing. Yes, what's your age? Yes. So that way they keep making fun of Custard the dragon, and dragon always is asking for a safe place, that is a cage where he feels safety. Now the scenario changes. Suddenly they heard a nasty sound. Nasty, not good, very bad, evil. And Mustard growled, and they all looked around. Dogs, they are always watchful. Their sense of hearing is very, very sharp, and from quite a lot of distance, they can hear small sounds, and they become very cautious because uh, the sound should not go unnoticed. Others will not notice it, but because the hearing of the dog is sharp and it knows these movements are not good, this sound is not good, some strange person is approaching or something strange is approaching. So Mustard growls, he is ready. And they all looked around. When Mustard is growling, that means something is wrong. Meow, said Ink, and ow, oot, say Belinda. Now, the natural sounds is when the cat finds itself in danger, it meows. And when a human being is they are in danger, they say, "Oh," for there was a pirate climbing in the window. There is now slowly in that small little white house. A pirate climbed into the house from the window. Window here stands for window. Yes, we know the poets that take liberty in spellings of the word. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right, and he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. Cutlass, it's a sword, right? So when he entered, he needs his two hands. But in both the hands, when he entered the room, from the window, entered the house from the window. He had pistols in both the hands. Right now, rather saying having pistols in both the hands, this is a poem. So the poet has used, well, a pistol in his left hand and pistol in his right hand, and then he didn't have place to put his cutlass, a sword. So he had that. Always you'll see pictures of the pirates catching their swords in their mouth, so that it's just ready. Yes, the sword is always at the waist, but that's quite a far place when they are on the rope, etc. Right? So they usually catch the cutlass in their mouth, and easily it can be taken from here and ready to fight. Right? So he had weapons, pistol in his right, pistol in his left, and uh, it was a cutlass that was in his held in his teeth. His beard. Now, what is his appearance? His beard was black. One leg was wood. So, accident might have happened to him. His one of his leg uh, got severed from below the knee. So we know pirates, one leg, they will have a wooden leg, right? So that way. It was clear that the pirate meant no good. Pirate entry of a pirate is never good. He will always come for thieving, robbing, stealing, and is going to hurt like anything because he has weapons. Now what happened? All those people, those who call themselves very, very brave and courageous. Let us start with Belinda. Belinda is pale. That means color gone. And she cried, started crying, help, help. Oh, brave and courageous person doesn't yell out, help, help. But Mustard fled with a terrible yelp. Yes, as if it was a puppy. Yes, puppy, you just stamp your foot on the ground, it's going to whimper away, saying, yelping, right? So, same way, the dog, Mustard, he was called brave as a tiger, but as soon as he sees the pirate, he starts running, yes, with a terrible yelp. Ink trickled down to the bottom of the household. Ink, that is the kitten. It ran so hard downstairs that it went and tried to hide itself in the bottom of the household, that is the basement. And the little mouse, where do mouse go and hide? In small cracks in the wall, right? Strategic household, it will find a small crack and it will escape over there. So they behaved in their actual manner. None of them were brave. But up jumped Custard, snorting like an engine. So now Custard comes in his true colors. He is a dragon and he is not afraid of these small pirates. So he stands up bravely. He faces the situation very, very courageously. He is fearless and he stands over there. He's snorting. We know when he snorts, the uh, cloud of smoke comes out from his mouth, and he can spit fire, right? So snorting like an engine. When engine runs, it gives out smoke. So that's the meaning. Clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. डंजन तो पुराने जमाने में जो राजा लोग थे वो पनिशमेंट कहाँ थे डंजन नीचे dungeon में डालो, and he was chained. There is no light, no food is given, a person will die within 1 week, right? So dungeon, लेकिन the prisoners, they clang there because when they walk, the chains, they make noise in the dungeon, nobody else is there, and it echoes. So clashed his tail like irons in a dungeon. He clashed, even his tail is quite big and it's quite heavy. He clashed it on the ground and it sounded like irons in the dungeon with a clatter and clank and a jangling quim. These are the sounds made by the iron in the dungeon. That same sound over here, different types of sound, yes, are made by his movement because he has daggers for his toes. He has that big tail which is lashes and keeps on hitting on the ground. That makes sound of clatter, clank, jangling, squirm, right? He went at the pirate like a robin at worm. Yes, robin. It's a small, beautiful bird, right? But it pounces on the worm. It sees a worm, it flies over there and instantly catches that worm. Same way here, the dragon is compared with a robin who is very watchful for a worm, right? It goes over there and just gobbles up the complete worm, eats away that complete worm. Same way, the dragon is also compared. He went towards the pirate as if pirate was food for him. The pirate gasped at Belinda's dragon. The pirate might have heard about the dragon but never seen a dragon. Now it is looking at that huge thing, and now the pirate is scared. Yes, all his courage, he had weapons, he was thinking himself as God on earth. Right here, all that bravery goes away, all that fear goes away, right? Fearlessness goes away, and now he looks frightened, feared, he's shivering, he is seeing that huge dragon, unbelievable thing right in front of him, and he gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. Yes, he got so terrified that he took out a bottle of drinks from the flagon. Flagon is actually a bottle, and the drink is grog. Grog is something drinky, right? So he took out a bottle from his pocket and he drank because he was quite desperate. He fired 2 bullets, but they didn't hit, and Custard gobbled him every bit. Yes, though he tried to show courage, he fired his pistols, 2 rounds from each of his pistols, but both of them missed because the dragon is quite big. Then also he missed. That means how much terrified this pirate must be that the dragon was right in front of him. Yes, and it should have been a very sure shot, because if you're firing at a very huge animal, your bullet can't miss. Yes, so here the pirate is so terrified that he fired 2 bullets. Then also he missed the dragon, such a huge dragon in front of him. And Custard went over there and just put down his head, took the pirate in his mouth, and gobbled him with one gulp. Whole of the pirate inside his stomach, gobbled him every bit, means leaving nothing outside, whether it is whether it is a pirate, the clothes, the sword, the pistol, everything goes inside, not leaving a single thing of the pirate outside. Now Belinda, she was coward. Now who is a coward? Belinda is a coward. She goes and embraces him. Mustard lick him. Mustard is the dog who ran away. No one mourned for his pirate victim. Yes, nobody cared about the death of the pirate. It was eaten away, whole of it. Ink and Blink in glee did Gyrat. They were dancing now. The danger is gone. Yes, they thought themselves as brave, and they teased Dragon to be a very non-courageous person, a coward, around the dragon that ate the pirate. Now they are all rejoicing, right? But presently up spoke little dog Mustard. I would have been twice as brave if I hadn't been flustered. Yes, yes. And so now they start giving excuses that if I weren't flustered, then I could have uh, tackled that person. I would have been twice brave. And up spoke Ink and up spoke Blink, both the kitten and the mouse. They are also saying, we would have been 3 times as brave. One says, I will have been 2 times braver than Custard. Now, the small, small little animals, mouse and the kitten, they also say, we would have been 3 times brave. Yes, we think. And Custard say, I quite agree that everybody is braver than me. Custard agrees that, yes, you all people, you are very, very brave. You have done nothing and you are brave. Yes, I have done everything, but I am a coward, right? So this is, you can say, pun also, irony also. Now we have that same thing. Now Belinda lives, uske badle mein Belinda still lives in a little world, and the same things are repeated with a little black kitten and a little mouse, grey mouse, and little dog, and little red wagon, and plus she has truly a little pet dragon. Yes, instead of the same things are there. She's as brave as barrel full of bears. Ink and Blink ditches down lions, and Mustard is like a tiger. But Custard keeps crying for the same. Now the danger is out. Now they again come back to their self. Custard behaves as a coward, and rest of the cowards behave as brave people. Now we do with the figures of speech. Belinda lived in a little white house. Alliteration is there. Yes, L and L sound is repeated. Please start writing very quickly. With a little black kitten and a little grey mouse. Repetition is there. Little, little. Complete of word. Little is repeated. So repetition is there. And a little yellow dog and a little red wagon. Again, little, little is repeated. Repetition. Really or truly a little pet dragon. Now, internal rhyme is there. Really or truly. Yes. Oxymoron. Pet and dragon cannot be, they are both opposites, right? Dragon cannot be a pet and pet cannot be a dragon. So two opposite things are given over here without any word in between. Yes, little dragon can be okay. When the dragon is baby, it can be little, right? But pet cannot be a dragon and dragon cannot be a pet. So two opposite terms without any words in between. So it's an oxymoron. Now name, these two lines are to be taken as together. I hope students you are sitting with your um, English material and your writing material and marking down the figures of speech. These two lines are to be taken together. Now the name of the little black kitten was Ink and the little grey mouse she called him Blink. Little little is there 2-3 times, so repetition is already there. Internal rhyme is there, ink, blink. Yes, so internal rhyme hai, alliteration automatically, there will be lots of consonant sounds which are equal. So, and the little yellow dog was sharp as mustard. As word is used. Yes, comparison, direct comparison is being done. So, simile is there in this line. But the dragon was a coward and she called him custard. Now, first is personification. Yes, the uh, dragon is personified like a human being having the qualities of being coward, right? So personification is there. Internal rhyme is there. Coward, custard, I think. Yes, and alliteration, there will be lots of words with same consonant sounds. Custard the dragon had big sharp teeth. Teeth part of the whole body, so synecdoche is present over here. Spikes on top of him and scales underneath. Yes, antithesis is used over here. Top and underneath. Two opposite terms, right? Top hai, dusra hai opposite. So antithesis is used over here. Synecdoche is there. Scales hai, spikes hai, they are part of the body. So part of the whole. So they are synecdoche. Mouth like a fireplace, chimney for nose. Like है तो simile पक्का होना चाहिए, right? Because it is direct comparison. Metaphor is also there. Nose, which is like chimney, no. Chimney for a nose. Yes, so nose is working not like the chimney. Nose is the chimney, so metaphor is there. And mouth hai, nose hai, part of the body, so synecdoche. And really or truly, we discussed that really or truly is internal rhyme. Synecdoche is also there because toes, part of the body is there. Metaphor is there. Daggers on his toes. Toes were like daggers or the nails were like daggers. No, the toe was a dagger. So that is indirect comparison. So it is metaphor. Belinda was as brave as I comparison, so it is simile. As brave as a barrel full of bears. So that is hyperbole. It's an overstatement. A small little girl as powerful and as brave as lots of bears put together. So it is hyperbole. Alliteration, you find yourself lots of words. For example, brave and barrel both are having B sound. That is a consonant sound. Ink and Blink chase lions down the stairs. Now, a kitten and a mouse chasing a lion, that is overstatement. So it is a hyperbole, right? And internal rhyme is there, ink and blink. So internal rhyming is done over here. Mustard was as brave as simile. Comparison is there. As brave as a tiger in rage. That is an overstatement. Yes? हाँ फेंका फेंकी हो रही है. So that is hyperbole, right? but custard dried for a nice safe cage. Yes, oxymoron is there. Cage and safe, they are two opposite terms, right? केज में होता है वो प्रिजनर होता है, वो सेफ नहीं होता, right? So two opposite things are there. If you are safe, then are you in a cage? You are safe in your house. Is that a cage? No. So there are two opposite terms. And custard in a cage, that is also opposite. So oxymoron is there. Alliteration you will find normally everywhere. Belinda tickled him, she tickled him. So tickle, tickle, do bar hai, so it becomes an internal rhyme. No, repetition, right? Ink, blink, mustard, they rudely called him Percival. Internal rhyme is there. Ink and blink, so internal rhyme is there. Metaphor is used. Yes, rudely. Rudely called him Percival, right? So the animals are given human quality or of saying or speaking in a rude manner, so that is personification. Now irony. What is irony over here? Percival. Percival is a brave person, right? And the coward dragon is called a Percival, so that is irony. Yes. And metaphor, because indirect comparison between Percival and the covered dragon is done, so that is metaphor. They all said, these two lines go together, they all sat laughing in the little red wagon, and the really truly cowardly dragon. Dragon wagon, it is internal rhyme, same way. Really truly is also internal rhyme. Then onomatopoeia, laughing. Laughing is word which is sound word. By laughing, you mean some laughter is there. Laughter always carries sound. Smile does not carry sound. Laughter carries sound. So it is onomatopoeia. Alliteration usually will find in some. Belinda giggled. Now, when you giggle, some sound comes out. So that is onomatopoeia. That's a sound word. Hyperbole. Till she shook the house. Now, with the laughter, it's a figures of speech, right? You say that the whole of the house is shaking, but laughter cannot shake the house. Yes, you need an earthquake to shake the house. So that is hyperbole. Blink said weak. So blink, weak, similar sounding words is onomatopoeia, because weak is the sound made by the uh, it's a sound word. Weak. Giggling is also a sound word. So onomatopoeia is there, and alliteration is there. Ink and mustard rudely asked his age. Again, rudely asking. Yes. Custard cried for a safe cage. It is safe and cage. So oxymoron is there. Internal rhyme. Age, cage is there. So internal rhyme. Suddenly they heard a nasty sound. Now first thing, repetition. Suddenly the word is repeated, so it's a repetition, alliteration user. A transferred epithet. Now transferred epithet, what is being transferred over there? Nasty. Sound is the noun, so nasty will become adjective. Yes, adjective is attribute. Now because a nasty and not good or evil sound, so evil sound gives us frights, right? So that is being transferred. And mustard growled, and they all looked around. Now growling is a sound word, so onomatopoeia is going to be there. Growled and around, internal rhyme is there. Meow cried ink, and ooh cried Belinda. These two lines had to be taken together. For these was a pirate climbing up in the window. Belinda, window, ink, blink nahi hai. Okay. So it will be Belinda, window, right? So internal rhyme will be there. If it's not written, you can write it. Onomatopoeia is there. Onomatopoeia is there. Meow, right? It is the sound of the cat, right? Now exclamation mark is there here also, and ooh also. So exclamation figure of speech is already there. Repetition will be there. Cried 2 times. So repetition is there. Pistol in his left hand, pistol in his right. Now, left and right, they are opposite terms, right? So, that will be antithesis, but lots of space in between left and right, so it will not be oxymoron, it will be antithesis. Synecdoche is there because hand part of the whole. Repetition you'll have somewhere over. Pistol is repeated, so repetition is there. And he held in his teeth a cutlass bright. Yes. Now, uh, the construction of the word is such that the construction is misplaced here and there, right? So, misarrangement of words. And he held a cutlass bright in his teeth. Aisa hona chahiye, right? Construction, but it is misarranged. So that is anastrophe synecdoche because teeth is there, part of the whole. His beard was black, one leg was wood. Now, uh, synecdoche is there. How? Because beard part of the whole. So synecdoche is there. Alliteration you will find. Metonymy. Metonymy. One leg was wood. Yes, one leg was wood. Wood. One leg cannot be wood, but that wood stands for leg. It is part of the body, right? But it stands so metonymy. Uh, it was clear that the pirate meant no good. No is there, so litorts. Belinda paled, she cried, help, help. Help, help is written 2 times, so repetition is there, exclamation is there after help, so na, paled and she cried. Cried gives out sound, right? So it is onomatopoeia. But mustard fled with terrified yelp. Yelp is a sound word, so onomatopoeia is there. Transferred epithet. Yes, yelp is a noun, terrified. That terrified makes him run, right? So fled. So transferred epithet. Ink trickled down the bottom of the household. Tautology is there. Now, uh, down and bottom meaning is the same, right? So, different words are used having the same meaning, so it is tautology. And little mouse blink, strategically mousehold. Metonymy is there, strategically mousehold. Mousehold, it finds a hole and its mouse, and mouse lives in a hole, right? So it is metonymy. An attribute is given over here. If mousehold is strategically mousehold, right? So metonymy. But up jumped custard, snorting like engine. Engine bolo, snorting bolo, sound आता है, right? So onomatopoeia is there. Simile, snorting like है then comparison is there. Simile, clashed his tail like, तो again simile आएगा. Synecdoche, tail is part of the whole. With a clatter, clatter is a sound word. That he went at the pirate like है तो again simile होगा, right? And robin at worm, that is alliteration, right? The pirate gaped at Belinda's dragon. 2 lines come together. Gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. Metonymy is there. Gulped some grog from his pocket flagon. Yes, whether you say bottle and the drink in it, right? So metonymy is it, attribute is given. That grog is some drink that is in the bottle, right? He fired 2 bullets, but that didn't hit. Did not have, so litorts. Custard gobbled him every bit. Yes, now we are talking about a person who becomes dead. So dead is said in a very good way, right? So that is euphemism. Every bit was eaten away. Belinda embraced him, Mouse licked him. Repetition is there, him and him. No one mourned his parent. So litorts is there because negation is there. Ink and blink, internal rhyme with there. Anastrophe will be there. In glee, did gyrate around the dragon that ate the pirate. Right? Anastrophe is there. So these are the figures of speech for this particular. Presently upspoke little dog. Again, anastrophe is there. I would have been twice if I had a negation at the litorts. Up spoken can blink. Internal rhyme is there. Repetition is there. Up and up. So these are some of the figures of speech. We come to the end of the poem. We had been 3 times as brave. Internal rhyme is there. Brave and think. No. Repetition is there. We would have been 3 times as brave. We is repeated, so repetition is there. Internal rhyme is also there. Custard said, I quite agree that everybody is braver than me. Irony is there. Now, what is irony here? Custard, he was called coward, but he is the bravest among all the people over there, right? But he calls himself quite meek and coward, and he accepts that all of you people are braver than me. I did nothing, all of you people did. So that is the irony, that the bravest is shown coward over here, whereas all the cowards, they call themselves brave. So that is the irony that is used over here. So with this, we complete chapter number, poem number 9 and 10. Uh, 11 number poem is reduced from the syllabus. So even if we don't do it, it's all right. Thank you, students.